Hi, I'm Gil. This is Burkland Gardens. I'm in the bed of our truck today with a small load of plants that I've taken to my daughter's house. And we're going to go over the things that I've brought and also talk about some conifer screen trees that we're going to install today. And we'll get some of that video. That'll be on this video as well. So I'm just going to pull out a few plants. And this is the weekend before Labor Day, and it's a Sunday, cloudy day. We had an inch of rain yesterday, which is unusual, but it was actually welcome. So anyway, I'm gonna get up here and pull a few plants forward. Plants that we're gonna. She has a pretty good size yard, about an acre, um, and so we've got a Pinus parviflora Goldilocks that is a nice specimen plant. The gold is outstanding on this plant, contrasting with the blue-green color. This is about a 7-gallon size, 12-plus-year-old plant. So I've got a few more of these in my inventory, but adding some gold or yellow. Some people don't like it, but most people do, and it adds a lot of interest to the landscape. So get this one slid over to the tailgate, and since they have a pretty large yard and could use some large trees. This is just a regular black pine, Pinus nigra, Austrian pine, and you can see the growth on this pine. They take pruning well. If you want to reduce it and make them more dense, they'll be a fairly dense plant. Nice dark green color. So that's just a species plant. Here's a 5-meal pine, well, probably Pinus strobus, the eastern white pine. Um, Lost track of the name, so it's going to this yard, but it has a nice columnar habit. You can see everything is wanting to go up. Should be a nice dense plant. I'm going to have a little bit of background noise um, for the planting. There's some holes going in, and so the auger's running right now. So there's an oriental spruce, Barnes. This will start developing into a nice conical dark green tree. Doesn't get all that big. Uh, Usually right around 10 to 12 feet at 20 years, so and maybe even 30 years, so that they're that slow growing. So it's developing its leader now. It's always been sort of flat. It's about an 8-year-old tree. Had it for a fairly long time. Really like that tree. Here's Bosnian pine, Pinus heldrichii. Don't have the name on it. It could be satellite, the cultivar name, and but it has a fairly narrow habit. It probably will develop into something about 10, 12 feet wide and 10 to 12 feet tall at 10 years, even though it's more than that now. So get into the ground, it'll grow a little more aggressively. Something different than a conifer. We've got a Stewardia. Really nice Stewardias. I've probably talked about them before. Have that peeling, exfoliating bark. Um, Camellia-like flowers that they just get full of, and a nice fall color. Here we've got a Japanese maple, Sangukaku, the coral bark maple. Great color, winter color. The stems are nice bright red, and that's always on the newer growth. So as they grow older, the color won't be as dominant on the lower part of the tree, but just on the limbs that are the new growth. Have a green penguin, Pinus sylvestris. Again, one of my favorites, narrow, dark green, contrasting needles in color with that one. A Japanese black pine called Ogon. at that. This is fairly aggressive. Looks like 6 to 8 inches of growth this year, and I can see growth of a foot or more at different years. And again, it takes pruning well, but it'll be definitely a intermediate size, and maybe the larger intermediate size of tree in the landscape. But really nice. Add some nice golden color there. A tree that's used quite a bit. It'll get quite large. Vanderwolf's Pyramid. It's a Pinus flexilis. Color's great. There's in a normal city lot, I wouldn't plant this tree. It just gets too big, and the snows can damage some of the branches too. We call it breaking out. They just kind of fall apart. So got a few other things we're going to take out. Oh, one more conifer we'll talk about. I've got a ginkgo here, autumn gold. Got a paperbark maple here, and a katsura. All favorite deciduous trees of mine, and this is Picea. Oh, it's an Picea abies, weeping blue. So it's a Norway spruce. Nice color on it. Gray green, gray blue color. So we'll get these out of the truck, and I don't know that we'll spot them today, but we're going to get started in planting some Excelsa cedars, and I'll talk about that when we get over on the side yard. We're getting ready to plant some screen trees here. We're using Excelsa cedars today. That's Thuja plicata, Excelsa, and so we've gotten the soil loosened up here. It's looking really good. There's a few rocks in here. Rocks do not hurt anything as far as planting goes. Even if you have a fair amount of them, it can provide some drainage actually. So looks like there's good organic in here. I'm just kind of curious what this looks like down a little bit. Wow. Okay. That's really good soil. So my idea on this kind of planting, there might be probably a log right here. I can feel some decaying. There's also a pipe in here. Okay. So we've got a drain pipe. It's just a drain pipe from a catch basin, and it goes to a drainage area that was specified when the homes were built right back here. So we're going to stay away from that. We'll come back this way a little bit. But soil looks excellent. I wasn't going to go. We've got plenty of room between this soil level here and the grass level. We can use some mulch. So I think now right here, probably a little more native soil. I'm getting a little bit of clay and a little more gravel. You never know what you get at a new construction site. So okay, Van, I need your help. We're going to get one of these trees moved over here. So we can, I just want to see how it sits. And we can drag it over or put it right in the hole and see what it does. So actually, as we're looking at it, I mean, that's not a bad height. The soil's pretty good here. It looks like, they might have added some good soil here or done something. And this soil's a little bit more native. So I'm thinking right there is not a bad height. We don't have to go very deep. Okay. You want to hold that there for just straight, and I'll put some soil behind it. Thanks, Ben.
Right there?
Yep.
Did you leave the bag on it?
We are going to take it off. I'm actually going to go over that. So we're going to, so when you're planting B&B, it comes with twine around it, and you always want to take, the best to take the twine all the way off and then unwrap some of the burlap. And if it has a wire basket, get that out of the hole. If the root mass is really loose, that's not a good thing. You might want to consider talking to your supplier about that because it's not good. But you can see the roots are growing through the burlap that's on the bag here. So this is wrapped around. I just need to get. See, can you tilt it your way about that way a little bit? Okay. Yeah, perfect. I just need to have a little bit of to be able to look at that twine. So the twine's wrapped around the trunk down here. So we've removed the burlap, the twine. The root ball is really nice and tight and compact. The roots are holding it together. The soil is a nice clay soil. Also, we're going to take off the twine that's around the tree. And Ben, if you can you get that up above there and kind of pull that twine. I cut it on this side. It may not have. Here it is right here. Yep. So when they're being shipped and transported, they'll wrap these branches up with the twine as well. So you can see all the roots that are coming through here. These are great roots, and this tree is it's nice and wet. And they're going to add a little bit of soil or combination of, Ben, you could even just put bark on here, but you could also just take some soil and move around the soil that you have here and move up against it to about the height a few inches below where the top of the root ball is here, and then bring your bark and just a thin layer right in here and nice thick layers in here. And the trees love bark, so they grow in that, so they love it. Okay, we got the first one ready. Yeah, I can cut that. Okay. And then you take the branches and move them down. They've been bundled up, and you don't want to leave a tree bundled up with twine too long. It'll um, it'll start growing upright. So they have them get the branches moved down, and that's good. These trees have probably been sheared at the nursery where they were grown, and that's for these trees here. That is not a bad thing, and they'll just break out of that. Just makes them nice and dense. So you can also shear these if you want to. It's not necessary, and they're going to be pretty dense tree. Excelsa cedars are a dense tree, but so that'll give you they're just a great screening tree, as in emerald greens, but around here, emerald green arborvitaes, the deer will browse on them, and they won't look very good. They'll do some browsing on this, but they can usually never hurt it. And the bucks will rub their horns on these too. That's the only other bad thing about that. So hopefully they stay away from that. Once they get to a certain size, that doesn't happen. But anyway, we're going to move forward with our planting. Roots have grown right into the burlap. Not a bad thing. I just pull it away sometimes. Some if they're really tough, just go ahead and cut them off like this and do some pulling. And these roots will continue to grow and split. We're just doing some root pruning. Pretty beneficial having that rain this last day too. So nice, compact. These roots are holding the dirt together. The dirt's wet and holding together. It's just like perfect. So okay, Ben, let's grab the end and go ahead. Well, let's see. We'll roll it over first. Yeah, let's do that. I'll get this out of there. Okay, and we'll just go ahead and roll it on in. Perfect. Yeah, I like it. Get a little bit in there. Is it pretty straight right now? Okay. Yeah, we can just get a little dirt around it. That'll hold it in place. And
we can bring in more and just fill around it later.
So, do you have Philco pruners, Max? Ben, you have Philco pruners? I don't get paid by Philco, but they're the landscapers and nurserymen use Philco pruners. The number 2s for right-handed, and they have a left-handed version too. And they have some other models there, but Philco number 2, you'll have a unless you'd lose it like I do sometimes, you'll have a pair of pruners that last you a lifetime. And you can buy replacement parts. They're a German made, and they're excellent pruners. Here's one right here. Okay, here's this one.
Oh, that's where they tied it off. It's right there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We might have left. There might be one on this one too. Here's when they planted it in the field, here's the bamboo stake that they planted it to. So it was probably about 2 to 3 feet tall. You see more? Is there more twine?
Well, I'm just trying to get these branches out. I think you got all the twine, Bill.
Okay, got it. Oh yeah, it'll rot away, but might as well get all the debris out you can. I think that one's gone. I'm not even feeling it.
I don't see anything.
Okay. Okay. So that was 1, 2, just a little bit more. Thanks for joining us today at my daughter's house. And as we planted these Excelsa cedars, you can see her house in the background. And so the Excelsa cedars, there's going to be a house built just that and we'll get a shot of that on this vacant lot right next door. And this will give them some screening from the street. They have a patio in their backyard, and that'll give them that. And then they still have some landscaping to do around the yard. So we'll close with that. Thanks for watching, and we'll have a few shots of the yard too as we progress forward, because there's some empty spots that lots of room to put some conifers, maples, and other plants into. So until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.